Shalom to the elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Mosai, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba, not Yahuwah, not Hashem, not Yahweh, Haveh, Vaveh. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua, not Yahusha, not Jesus Christos. It's Yahweh Shah. So got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rikah Quadash. Double honors to the apostles, elder, bishop, and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. In a sincere salutation to all the Akim believing this truth and pushing this truth, but the four ends of the earth, the entire world, shed light to the awful elect. Shalom to the outworth who are listening learning, if you sister who are listening learning. I'm Isaiah from GMS Atlanta, Camp Prophet of Doom, coming into another lesson in true facts, faith, and edification, another date edification. Lord willing, be edifying. So, I was listening to Elder Yashawamba, and he was playing the Elder Canuck, I think his name is Elder Canuck, from the Los Angeles camp, a San Francisco camp. The video he was playing from this about this shooter, and this guy here calling the shooter, he calling it domestic terrorism. And the Elder Yashwan was playing the other elder's video. I'm gonna play this clip. So this guy, he's making a point. He called it ideology, motivations, right? Then he said, this is radicalized online lone wolf behavior. And he mentioned that dealing with the manifesto that the guy left, he said, if we look into this, you will see it go back to weeks, months, maybe a year. He said breadcrumbs, right? He said the guy had to leave some kind of breadcrumbs because this is radicalized online lone wolf behavior, right? He said ideology, motivations. And he mentioned the breadcrumbs. And listen to Elder Yashawamba and the points. Hey, and then the guy dead, right? So this is Esau Edom. Like all these other what they call it, MK Ultra and these sleeper cells, and hey, just like the Lord reactivated the remnant, hey, the Lord is using Esau Edom, so-called white man, to activate wickedness, man. That order op KO, right? Order out of chaos, problem, reaction, solution. This is another one of those that they're gonna use and say, because when the elder listen, the elders going into this this Gideon, this Project Gideon, man, using this system designed like the movie Minority Report, right? So they can say we can catch this before it happened. Just how Esau set up all these different findings of a dog that got lost, right? The different dogs over the years that got lost, and then what happened years later, those that got lost, they had the chip in them. So Esau can say, oh, see, we found this dog because he had a chip in him, right? Or we found your kid because your kid had the chip in him, in her or him. This is what they doing, man. They set these scenarios up. These things is done by Esau Edom, man. These things are done. The Lord is using the so-called white man to set these scenarios up so he'll be justified when he brings in the RFID micro seal, which is to track everybody, man. And this is why they saying starting in 2026, every child being born will have a C-hip in them. This is what they doing, man. They are just like the Heavenly Father Yahweh Bashim Awashai strategically destroying the so-called white man's last empire through the words, through his words. The words of the Lord is destroying this man's last rulership, right? The so-called white man doesn't control the information age. And they moving with what Trump came with and said, Operation Warp Speed, right? To get the ball rolling, man. They're going to use this to be justified in bringing in the system. So everybody can say, yeah, it makes sense. If we know everybody doing, then nobody can. You see somebody going to buy guns some weeks later or a month later, and he got the ammo, then you'll be tracked. Well, where you spent your money at? Oh, this person bought whether you got a clean record or not. Oh, this person bought a AR-15 some months ago. He bought some bullets. He got the vests, right? He got the whole body armor. Just like in the movie Rampage. The guy was ordering the stuff, but he had it going to his friend's house. So when it went down, it looked like his friend did it. And they said, oh, that's why you always got these women. They get on YouTube, the mothers of these killers. They say, oh, he was a straight A student, never bothered nobody. And then all of a sudden, he just went and killed. Hey, the Lord activated that switch, but he using the so-called white man to do it, man. These ones that the so-called white man is using, man. They were set up. That's why he dead. He can't testify and say, oh, yeah, they made me do it. No, he dead, man. These scenarios are set up by the so-called white man, by the government, man. Don't be no fool, man. That's why 2 Corinthians 2:11, we are not ignorant of the so-called white man's devices, man. This is a setup, man, for them to bring in and push that RFID micro seal, man, so they can track you, man. Carbon footprint. They want to trace and track your every move. What you spending money on, what you eating, where you been at, where you going. Listen to this. And then I'm going to get this word, ideology. Damn devil. Talking about this ideology, motivations. Because that Elder Yashwamba and the Elder Kanaka making the point. Hey, what's that? The apostles, Elder Bish always going to this, man. And the Elder Yashwamba making the point. And the lesson he did, the apostles been saying this was going to happen, man. This what he was going to do, man. Before the people that's got these podcasts are talking about this, that's what Elder Yashwamba making the point. Man, the apostles been talking about this for years, man. Before YouTube. Before they was on YouTube, man. Before YouTube, the apostles been talking about this, man. And we are watching it unfold. Let's play this.
And domestic terrorism, I'm going to tell you why, Trace. This is ideologically motivated. This was tactical, and this was intentional. 80% of these domestic lone wolf terrorists post some type of grievance online. Matthew Crooks, 900 posts between 2020 and 2022. The DC shooter, 900-page manifesto. 100% domestic terrorism, and I bet you, in addition to that manifesto, there's a very significant breadcrumb daisy trail leading back who knows how many weeks, months, or even years. This is the new face of terrorism. This is no longer post 9/11 terror organized Al-Qaeda, Trace. These are radicalized online lone wolves, and the United States is 10 years behind these threats. We need to catch up.
And I wanted to get your
And see, let me get this. This here. Right? What's going on in Chicago? 58 shot, 8 dead. Right? This is all leading control to no where everybody is at, what they doing, what they spending their money on. This is what's going on, man. Esau using all these, man. Never let a good crisis, never let a crisis go, a good crisis, whatever it is, never let a crisis go to waste. Problem, reaction, solution, man. They are forming this new system through these what they call calamities, chaotic times. Nobody ignorant of the so-called white man's devices, man. But this is what they doing. At least 58 people have been shot, 8 fatally across Chicago over Labor Day weekend, including a drive-by attack that left 7 victims wounded, according to police. The violent holiday weekend came as President Donald Trump renewed threats to send federal agents and National Guard troops to Chicago. See? This is the new system, man. Order out of chaos, man. These devils is crafty. It's some crafty bastards. And I was thinking about, hey, the Lord said in Matthew, be ye wise as serpents and harmless as doves, right? So you got these wise serpents, which is the remnant of Israel, the real illuminated ones, as to tell you in Hebrews 10:32, but call to remembrance the former days after which you were illuminated, you endured a great fire of affliction. The real Illuminati, the real illuminated ones, is the remnant of Israel, starting with the men. Hey, the wise serpents against these cunning, crafty serpents, man. The Lord say, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, right? When you go to Isaiah, let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 43. We watching it, man. We know what's going on. The apostles told us, man. The apostles told us years ago. The elder bishops and elders tell us constantly, man. Our spiritual fathers and our spiritual uncles warn us constantly, man. This is Isaiah 43:20. It reads, the beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls, because I give waters in the wilderness. This wilderness is America. This waters is the truth. And rivers in the desert, which is this truth. And it's a flowing river, the world wide web, the unicorn. This truth is the river everywhere. To give drink to my people, my chosen. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise. And how we showing forth the praise of the Lord? It tell you in Wisdom of Solomon 12, hey, they that know it, you're going to stand in boldness. But the Lord called the remnant, the Israelites, he called them dragons and owls right here. The beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls. Isaiah 43:20. It's talking about the elect, man. Wise as serpents and humble as doves, man. See? Let me get this Wisdom of Solomon. The one that's in the know, man. That's why the nigga said, the Edomite said, yeah, these are breadcrumbs. Weeks and months. If we go and chase and track his breadcrumbs, he got plenty. Hey, that's our videos. They gonna say they videos, man. Something 12, before I forget. That's the videos that brothers put up. The destruction of America, coming against the elites, the small hats, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. That's our breadcrumbs, the videos, man. Hey, they gonna take this and run with it, man. As they do, as they supposed to. Wisdom of Solomon 12, in the point I want to make, verse 17. It reads 16. For thy power is the beginning of righteousness, and because thou art the Lord of all, it maketh thee to be gracious unto all. For when men would not believe that thou art of a full power, right, like that earthquake they hit over there in Afghanistan, and now it said over 1,200 dead. For when men would not believe that thou art of a full power, thou showest thy strength, right? And among them that know it, it maketh their boldness manifest. And among them that know it, thou makest their boldness manifest. So those that stand in the highways and hedges, telling you the Lord doing these things, man. The Lord, you the so-called white man, to have this guy to do what he did. And then he dead now. Why? Because he was activated, man. He was activated for a job. Just like the Lord activate the remnant of Israel, the men. We all have, the Lord all hit our switch and activated us to this truth, man. Well, that's what's happening. When the so-called white man used these activated shooters, man. Whether it's MK Ultra, whatever it is, man. These sleeper cells, whatever you want to call them. The so-called white man used these to make the point of, see, we got to get order. This is how we got to get order. If we had had him chipped, he would have never did this. This is what they do. And it's all gonna lead. This all leading to Jake, man. Them, as Elder Yashua read that Isaiah 29, man. Making a man a fitting for a word. I was thinking about the one in Isaiah. What is that? Isaiah 59. Yeah, Isaiah 59 and 15, it reads, verse 14, Isaiah 59 and 14, and judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the streets, and equity cannot enter. There is no equity because the so-called white man is in rulership. But this is what the Messiah brings. He's going to bring equity to the earth. After the so-called white man is destroyed, equity will be established throughout the four corners of the earth, man. The heathens, all the heathen nations will get to live in righteousness without the so-called white man being around. Look at this. This is Isaiah 59 and 13. In transgression and lying against the Lord and departing away from our power, speaking oppression and revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood. The so-called white man. It applied to 2/3 of Jake. This applies to the so-called white man now. Buzzwords in here. In transgression and lying against the Lord. And it tell you Revelation 13, the Lord gave him a mouth to blaspheme the Lord and speak against the Lord, man. Also in Ezekiel 35. In transgression and lying against the Lord and departing away from our God, speaking oppression and revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood. And to tell you in Psalm 7 that he let me get it real quick. Dealing with that falsehood. Psalm 7 and 14. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity and have conceived mischief and brought forth falsehood. It's a so-called white man. And what it tell you in Isaiah, 2/3 of our people, they trust in the falsehood of the so-called white man. They said under the refuge, they're going to hide under the refuge of lies, man. Isaiah 59 and 14. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the streets, and equity cannot enter. And the Lord said in Hosea 4 and 1, he have a controversy with the heavens of the land, because there is no truth, no knowledge, no mercy in the land, man. No knowledge of the Lord in the land. They X'd out Yahushua, right? Painted the Lord and his son and the Israelite and so-called white people, which is a law dealing with leprosy in Leviticus 13, man. Why would the Lord send his only begotten son on earth with leprosy? It's a lie, man. That Renaissance art, man. Iconoclasm. Yeah, truth faileth. And he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey, and Yahweh saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. Yeah, truth faileth. And he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. So standing in great boldness, teaching the words of the Lord, eventually, you're going to be like this shooter. You're going to be like this guy. Going to be like this guy here. Looked at as evil, man. Because of the truth. Look at this. Gideon. AI power threat prediction. Minority Report, man. And then to Isaiah 29. It's Isaiah 29 in verse 19, right? It reads, "The meek also shall increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel." And this is what the Hopeful Elect is doing, because we seeing what's going on. Matter of fact, let's read 18. "And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book." Yeah, the remnant, man. "And the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity." Because we got the eye salve now, that spiritual eye salve. Yeah, Yahshua making that point. Yeah, seeing out of obscurity, meaning out of darkness. We say right here, and out of darkness. "And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book." And the Lord said in John 10, man, "My sheep hear my voice, I know them, and they follow me." "And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book," this 16:11, "and the ears of the blind shall see, Salaki, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The meek also shall increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to naught," the so-called white man, "and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off." See? And all that watch for iniquity are cut off with the so-called white man. I tell you in Isaiah, let her read that. In Isaiah, was that 32? All he do is iniquity, man. "The man that make a man and offend for a word." The so-called white man. The same way they using these guys and deeming them as domestic terrorists, they gonna do the same thing with the words of the Lord, man. "That make a man and offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of not." That's what the Lord said in Ezekiel 3. "Thou shalt not be a reprover no more," man. Because it said right here, "that make a man and offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of not." So the Lord gonna have to remove the prophets, as the scriptures say, in Ezekiel 3, that Ezekiel 3 24 through 27, you should not go out and be a reprover to the people, because the so-called white man, it say he laying a snare for him that reprove in the gate. And then they tell you in Wisdom of Solomon 2, they know that the remnant was made to reprove their thoughts. But the Lord gonna let them do this, man. Because, hey, the Hopeful Elect is getting the word now. Where is it? Wisdom of Solomon 2. Right here, verse 14. "He was made to reprove our thoughts." They know this, because the Lord said it, man. Let's go to Psalms. Psalms 50. Psalms 50 in verse 20. "Thy citizen speaketh against thy brother, thy slanderest thy own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silent. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes." See, this is about the remnant telling the so-called white man that it's over. In Job 21, let's back that precept up. "They shall reprove thee. The Lord said, I will set them in order before thine eyes." And Job 21, right? In verse right here, 27, "Behold, I know your thoughts, and the devices which ye wrongful imagine against me. For ye say, Where is the house of the prince? And where are the dwelling places of the wicked? Have you not asked them that go by the way, the prophets? And do you not know their tokens? Yeah, we know their tokens. The prophets are telling you. The apostles been telling us the token of the so-called white man. It say right here that the wicked, verse 30, is reserved to the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. It reads, verse 31, "Who shall declare his way to his face? The reprovers, those that's reproving them. Who shall declare his way? Who shall declare his way to his face? And who shall repay him what he have done?" So he gonna cut off the reprovers that reprove in the gate. Why? Because they being reproved. That's why I say here, let's go to Job 15. The so-called white man got to stop this truth from going out throughout the internet, man. Which the Lord set it up for a time for the words to go out, then he's going to shut it off anyway. He just used the so-called white man to fulfill the prophecies. Job 15 and 21. A dreadful sound is in his ears. A dreadful sound is in his ears. In prosperity, the destroyer shall come upon him. He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness. See, they think they're going to stay here forever. But the Lord tell you in Jeremiah 49 that he have made Esau bare. He have uncovered his secret places. So they only going to get exposed till they be destroyed, man. He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness, and he is waited for of the sword. See, a dreadful sound is in their ears. Here's the other one in Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 50 in verse 43. The king of Babylon have heard the report of them. See, the report is of them that they're going to be destroyed. they is the report. The king of Babylon have heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pains as of a woman in travail. So they hearing about their wickedness. Who shall declare his way to his face? The reprovers. So they're going to line everybody up that's using YouTube to prophesy the downfall of America as domestic terrorism, man. Hey, everybody that's on YouTube prophesying the downfall of America, Babylon the Great, will be deemed domestic terrorism, man. Anyway, I was just thinking about that because Elder Yahshua was going in on it, man. Hey, Lord willing, this was edifying. And give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rekah Quadash, and double honors to the apostles, elder bishop, and elders of great millstone, who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim believing this truth and pushing this truth toward the four winds of the earth, the entire world, shedding light to the whole elect. Shalom to the wealth who are listening, learning. If you sisters who are listening, learning, throughout tuning in. May Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah continue bless you in your houses. May the blessing of election be upon your houses.